Very honored that we are going to invite up to offer a couple of blessings Senator Sidney Kamlager and Mayor Eric Garcetti. Please come join us. We first got to know Senator Sidney Kamlager. Oh, are we going? Who wants to go first? Okay, Senator Kamlager. We first got to know Senator Kamlager when she was first elected to the state assembly several years ago, and we reached out, as we do, to come in and talk about bail reform. And we weren't certain if you would even answer the call, but immediately you responded and said, yes, let's have a meeting. So our Minyan Tzedek team came in and met with Senator Kamlager, and immediately it was very clear that this is a person who shares our passion for racial and economic justice and is doing everything in her power in the areas of criminal justice reform, healthcare, equity, environmental protections, affordable housing, some of the things that are really most important to people in our community, including the most transformative probation reform law in the country, and legislation requiring implicit bias training for healthcare professionals, and so much more good stuff. But I want to mention one piece in particular, if I can, Senator Kamlager, which is a legislation that you wrote this year, SB 679, that our community organizing team, as you can hear, Brooke and our team of amazing lay leaders here really worked very hard to support, which will help us make great strides toward more affordable housing in LA County. And we're just deeply grateful to you for your public service and for your leadership, and thank you for joining us here today. I don't know if you knew it was going to be this long. Maybe you thought you were coming for an hour. We're just getting started. Welcome, and we'd be honored to have you offer a blessing this morning.
Thank you. I dream a world where man, no other man will scorn, where love will bless the earth and peace its paths adorn. I dream a world where all will know sweet freedom's way, where greed no longer saps the soul, nor avarice blights our day. A world I dream where black or white, whatever race you be, will share the bounties of the earth, and everyone is free. Where wretchedness will hang its head, and joy, like a pearl, attends the needs of all mankind. Of such I dream my world.
Mayor Garcetti will now come up in order to offer his own prayer. And, you know, in addition to all of the other things that you've been able to achieve in your tenure as mayor, one thing I really want to talk about is the way that you've transformed LA's environmental footprint. Being a voice for policies and a champion for policies that have helped us wean from our dependence on fossil fuels and reduce our dependence on imported water and so many other things. And what you've done here locally, you're also doing globally, really leading mayors from around the world to think about how we can be more responsible stewards of the earth. And it's a really tumultuous time, a time of intersecting crisis, a time of so much human suffering, and the earth itself, as Rabbi Panitz brought us on Erev Rosh Hashanah, is crying out for strong leadership from human beings who will stand and speak for the earth, and I'm so grateful to you. I also happen to know, because you're my friend and a person who I care deeply about how seriously you take this work, about how deeply you live your values, and about the way that you fight is really rooted in your core being. And I just bless you as you come to the end of this tenure during unprecedented times, difficult and challenging times, that you hold the gratitude that I and we have. And you know what? It's not perfect. It's never always perfect. You try being mayor, okay, folks? It's very, very hard, especially mayor of a major city. And yet every day you've walked with dignity and with integrity, with a really profound moral core. And when they say in the papers that we study Torah together, it's true. Every time we sit together with a text, your heart is wide open to see how our ancestors and our tradition can offer us guidance to help us through these very challenging times. And I am so grateful for your heart and for your leadership and for your love. I'm going to ask everyone to please rise. And Rabbi Garcetti, Mayor Garcetti, going to lead us in a little Yom Kippur prayer.
Thank you. I have a confession to make, Rabbi, that this is, in some ways, the scariest day of the year for me. Not only do we have to contend with our sin and our shortcomings, but my rabbi, Sharon Brous, always asked me to sing. And I'm not a singer. I mean, I was in choir in high school, and I like to karaoke as much as the next mayor, but I'm not a singer. It's not my instrument. I'm a pianist. And so whenever she calls, it's really scary and she doesn't give me easy songs either, and I never practice them. In fact, I was at the White House on Friday. It was the first time in this nation's history that the White House hasn't just had a Hanukkah ceremony, but a high holidays ceremony. And so I traveled to represent Ikar, basically, and sure, Rabbi was busy. Yeah, exactly. And then I get this text from Sharon, I'd like you to sing some Bob Dylan, the times there are changing. Well, great, you can't say no, but a quick story last night, one of the burdens of being the first elected Jewish mayor in the city of Los Angeles is that you have to go to a couple other synagogues sometime. So at the beginning of my time as mayor, I'd hit like 6 or 7 or 9 over the high holidays. And then over time, I wanted to have this experience that we have here and this community that has sustained all of us, including myself. And so it became 4 and then 3 and then 2. So I just went to only 1. And it was last night, and my apologies. And somebody next to me, after the service was done, who was a friend, his friend said, "Oh, the mayor, where does he usually go?" And he said, "Ikar." The person said, "Ikar," thinking maybe it was like a zero emissions vehicle or something. Like, what is Ikar? And he said, "No, it's this conservative place that's full of hippies." I felt very defensive about Ikar all of a sudden. I mean, I would say maybe authentic rather than conservative, and progressive rather than hippies. But I thought about it, and our music isn't really hippie music. It's much more, as you said, like Lion King. Maybe if Lion King had a baby with Peter Gabriel and some reggae stars. So anyway, so we do have a hippie song though, so it was a confirmation. And I'm sure there's a few of you out there. So look around and find a hippie near you, and let's sing The Times They Are Changing. Do they have the lyrics, or am I singing this like on my own? Is this a cappella too? Oh my God, this is going to be really painful. I'm so sorry. Okay. It's only 5 verses, so be careful what you ask for in life. Should I just do these?
One stanza and a chorus.
One stanza and a chorus. Well, it's all the same. There's no chorus, actually. Okay. Come gather around, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, and you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, for the times they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming. For the loser now will later to win, for the times they are a-changing. I can't choose, this one's a good one. Come senators, congressmen, please heed the call, and thank you, Senator. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the hall. For he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. The battle outside raging will soon shake your windows and rattle your walls, for the times they are a-changing. Here's the closer. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast. The order is rapidly fading, fast as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly phasing, and the first one now will later be the last, for the times they are a-changing. One more, and the times, they are a-changing. Thank you.